I have a massive issue with the healthcare system.
The thing is, you get help on the NHS when you're already...
It's too late.
Exactly. Yeah. It's intervention before the intervention is needed. Probably heard about the story recently that came out with a young boy unfortunately using ChatGPT and then committing suicide, and ChatGPT basically, the tool that it is and the capacity that it has, agreed with him. Hello, I'm Natalia Komis. I'm the CEO of AIDX, which is an AI coaching and mental health platform supporting individuals, practitioners, and teams and organizations. I'm a coach and MBL therapist myself, and I've been in the personal development scene for 15 years now. So I come from both aspects of this space, which is good and interesting for what we're building.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so there's been a lot of flack on AI and mental health.
Yeah.
Negative, mostly.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how this works.
Yeah, so I think everyone's probably heard about the story recently that came out with the young boy unfortunately using ChatGPT and then committing suicide, and ChatGPT basically encouraged him in whatever he was saying. So I haven't seen the actual full conversation, but what I have seen is that he was basically actually saying, I want to talk to my parents about this, I feel like I want to commit suicide, but I don't want to burden them with it. And unfortunately, ChatGPT, being the tool that it is and the capacity that it has, agreed with him, because it's kind of the way that it's been built. It's sort of helping you in that it's being your confident ally, right? So it was like, oh, I think you're right, maybe let's not do that. Instead of, flag, this is a trigger, we need to get some security measures in place, we need to make sure that you're actually going to talk to a professional. And that's where AIDX is different in that respect, because if it thinks that you're going down a negative spiral of some description, be it suicide, be it anxiety, be it a burnout, it has lots of different red flags. So it will actually tell you before you're even at that point that you're there. If you're working with a practitioner who's using AIDX, it will tell them. And if you're an employee working in an organization that's using AIDX, it will inform the leader that someone on the team is not doing great and you need to call a meeting and something needs to happen. You need to try and work out who that person is, or just help the team in general. And I think this is where these kind of tools, if you're using AI, there have to be safeguards in place.
Yeah, of course.
Especially for mental health, especially for serious cases of mental health, right? Like clinical stuff. And we do say that it isn't for clinical support in that respect, because I just don't think there is a full replacement for the human aspect. I don't think, I feel like the human professional needs that participating aspect to understand the client, understand the user. So that's why we actually have users connecting with real people as well.
So it's very proactive rather than a reactive system. I have a massive issue with the healthcare system as it is, because it's not. I mean, let's not get into that.
Well,
we could be here for a while.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you get help on the NHS when you're already.
It's too late.
Exactly, yeah. You're already crying in the toilets, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
on a daily basis. Yeah. Whereas AIDX, it is preventative. It is, the whole idea is it's intervention before the intervention is needed, right? And you can use it in lots of different ways. You can use it for journaling. You can use it for helping you to prioritize things and creating plans and setting reminders. And if you're working with a coach or a mental health professional who is on AIDX, they can use it in combination with your human, with your one-to-one sessions. So in between sessions, you can be using AIDX, and then your coach can actually be like, okay, I would like a summary of what's been going on. Because even when you're working with a coach, and I speak as a coach, sometimes there's still things you don't tell them, right? And maybe you would say it to an AI, so that that can then get passed along in the right way with your full support. So that's something that's really important as well.
So Okay, this is incredible, and I've got so many questions. How did you get into this?
So, I've been in this space for a long time, and one of the things as a practitioner, I was getting quite burnt out myself and disillusioned actually with the whole space, and feeling frustrated with a bunch of people online who weren't even coaches or therapists themselves and just pretending to be able to help people. And I just felt like there was a lot of chatter, as it were, and it was discouraging. And also I've been really passionate about this space for so long, and I started to lose that a bit, and I started to lose that spark of actually wanting to help people. And it was because I needed that extra bit of help. And so when I was, it's actually when I met my now life partner, that we really wanted to build something together. He's a software engineer, he's been in IT security and AI and all that kind of stuff, and we were like, how can we bring this together? Like, what can we do that would actually help humanity in some way? I've always been a social entrepreneur previous to what I do now. I've had multiple businesses, and so I felt like I was missing that part of it, because being a coach, there's only so much that I felt like I was harnessing my stuff and like being able to give back in that way. And when you start to feel disillusioned and you're actually kind of getting resentful about helping people, that's not good, right? And so I was thinking, can I use something, can we build something that not only helps me to be able to still work with people, still do what I love, but do it from a space where I'm not burning myself out in the process. So that was one thing. And then the other thing was, how can we create a tool together that we love, that we are going to be passionate about, to see to the end? Because something that both of us weren't very good at in the last few years was actually seeing something to the end, right? Actually going, okay, this is great, I've got it to a certain stage, now what? Do I go for investment? Do I get more team, like people on board? Do we scale? And there's always a bit of a, and I had the biggest problem with a bit of an ADHD brain of getting bored of things too quickly. And so having that co-founder and someone who's part of it with you, and completely different skill set, it really helps to solidify something and to keep going. And also just feeling quite passionate about it and getting excited about being in the startup scene again. And yeah, long answer to
it's all important, it's all part of the journey. Okay, so there's so much that I want to unpack, and I know we don't have enough time, so it's like I'm really struggling to, I don't know which bit to like touch on. But I guess because this is Founder Stories, I want to know a little bit more about you as a founder. It's very clear that you care a lot about what you do, and I find actually every single founder we've spoken to somewhat is trying to have a positive impact on the world, and that's really, really like uplifting to see here. So for you, what is the impact that you want?
Yeah, I think something that the Calm guys said yesterday actually was that they always use this one sentence, and we were having a discussion about it this morning because we were like, what's that one sentence thing? And they were saying that they just want to make the world healthier and happier. I was like, that's so simple. And that is like such a big part of what it is that we're saying, but it's also like, if we're looking at the product and what we want the product to do, it's to think clearer, to feel better, and to be able to be and feel human again, all the human qualities, like let's have fun, let's get curious, let's have that time with our families, let's actually be present in that way and understand ourselves. And I feel like my personal mission throughout all of the things that I've done over the last 20 years has been to help people be more self-expressed in who they truly are. And we hope that AIDX helps people to understand themselves better, and so they don't need to go down any of the negative spirals. Or as a mind body reconnect therapist, one of the things that we use a lot of Gabor Mate's work, and it's so much about coming back to your emotional self, your emotional brain, not always being in your thinking brain. And so AIDX is actually, the way that it works is it uses this technology that we've created called ATI, Advanced, I'm going to mess it up now, Adaptive, ATI, Adaptive Therapeutic Intelligence, Jesus. And it's about how, like, it will always be asking you questions. It will always be getting you to reflect and always making sure that the decision you've made is the right decision for you. You know, just as a human coach would. It's not going to tell you what to do, right? And so I think that, yeah, it's helping people come back to themselves, especially now in the world of AI, the world of technology, and the way that things are going. We need to remember that part of us, that humanness, and what it is to be human.
Love that. Love that. Amazing. Okay. So, would the young girl you once were be proud of the woman you've become today?
I think so. I hope so. Yeah. I remember being in my early 20s, like, I'm going to be, 30 under 30, and I've made millions, like all of these things, and I had a lot of goals. I remember feeling quite disappointed when I hit 30. I was like, I didn't reach any of these goddamn goals. But I've done so much, I've done so many things, and I don't regret any of them. I don't regret any of the pivots. I don't regret any of the hard times as a founder. And even now, it's me and my partner, we have a 14-month-old baby. It is tough. It is tough, yeah. Thank you. And we started this business just before I got pregnant. And it was just like, all right, okay, so we're creating two things at the same time. And yeah, I think that it's an incredible journey. And I think more people should be brave to try these kind of journeys, because I feel like being a founder is not the same thing as having a job. You learn so much about yourself in the process. And there's so many things that, I just don't think people understand without having experienced that.
Well, with that, is there anything that you've had to unlearn about yourself in the process?
Yeah, so many things. Like ego, for one. I was saying this morning, I was on stage earlier, and I haven't spoken on stage in ages. Various reasons. I actually had severe chronic illness for a couple of years, then traveled abroad and had my son and different things. So it just meant that, and with COVID, I think so many people ended up being behind the screen for so long. So I suddenly felt quite nervous about it, and I was thinking, I want to come across really good, and I want to get my points across, and I want people to like me. And then I was like, interesting. This is that ego piece coming in again, and this is the wanting to be liked, and childhood wounds coming up that I've had, and people pleasing. Oh my God, the people pleasing and the boundaries for me were constant lesson. And in business, especially if you're the CEO or if you're the person who needs to make deals, that's something that you have to get over. So yeah, all that kind of stuff, for sure.
Amazing. Just in the interest of time, I could speak to you forever. There's so much fun had. But I've got a magic mic. If I give you this mic, the whole of society is going to hear what you have to say. What is your message to the world? It doesn't have to be business related at all.
Yeah. I think it's to remember who you are always, because there are so many things, there's so many people, there's so many businesses, there is so much information, there's so much noise, and things go wrong when you're listening to all that noise. Chronic illnesses, I know this firsthand, I wasn't listening to myself. And that's why I ended up with having so many physical symptoms that were signals to tell me to stop. And I listening to other people, to convince you to do something that actually you don't want to do, or not go and do that really risky thing that is exciting, but scary. But maybe you should just do it anyway, So yeah, I think it's remember who you are, listen to yourself, trust that voice, trust who you are. Regardless of AI, regardless of all these other things, you know who you are. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, look, thank you so much for your time. I think what you're doing is incredible, and I think you'll change a lot of lives.
Thank you. I hope so.
So, yeah, in a time when I think we really need it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hopefully it's not going to be our last.
Yeah. Give us a hug.
Well done. You're smashing it.